microphone did. Maybe we shouldn't even use this if everybody's gonna be quiet. Hi everybody, how's everybody doing tonight?
Opposite of quiet.
Well, I'm glad everybody's having a good time. Thanks so much for coming. It's really humbling to see how many people show up for the party. We really didn't expect for everyone to come when we handed an invite to, but apparently you all came, which is awesome. So thank you so much.
Sounds like a girl.
We're gonna do a bit of a Q&A right now. I know we've been doing them all weekend, but we want a little more intimate setting for you guys to ask any of your questions. Got Daniel Erickson, James Olin here. We'll let them introduce themselves in a minute, or right now, and then we'll be off.
I'm Daniel Erickson. I am the lead writer for the game. James is the occasionally evil mastermind who rules it all. I think he is officially creative director of the studio, lead designer of the game, grand poobah of all of the eastern kingdoms of the north. I know.
So we only have one microphone, so we can't run through the crowd making people feel awkward. So instead, if you have a question you want to ask these guys, just raise your hand, and I'll call on you, I guess, is probably the easiest way to do it. Bear in mind that you guys know which questions we're not going to be able to answer, so...
It's 20 minutes. It's Wednesday 11.
Let's get this out of the way. What's the most important question on everyone's mind right now?
Is there a story?
There is story in the Old Republic.
When's the next day? Friday.
Release date is 2011. Okay, 2011. Get that out of the way. Let's move on to some other questions. Who's got a question? Raise your hand. Guys, no shouting. Just raise your hand, and we will find someone.
So I was just talking with Steven about the potential for things like maybe changing armor color, but I was wondering if you guys have considered how things like a guild tag or really goofy armor colors might break immersion towards endgame. Like a player could be running, a really epic world story quest, and they look over and they see a guy from like a guild. These are the droids you're looking for, and completely breaks it.
The question was, can we, it's sort of touching on like how much can we customize what we look like, how much does somebody who comes out and like has their trade a little bit of mismatched stuff, and they've got all their, because they're trying to make the best gear, and how much does that break immersion? There are times that we just go ahead and err on the side of gameplay, and that's most of the time. And when it comes down to that, because the thing is, we can't stop people from looking ridiculous anyway. In fact, a very large, happy minority of people will try to look as ridiculous as possible, probably pantsless, and be dancing in front of you no matter what you do.
Someone got playing Troll 5 naked today. So.
Yes, somebody tried to run Troll 5 naked, so, Did he win?
Oh no, he took his pants off after.
Oh, okay, took his pants off after he won. That's victory dance. But the point is, for gear, we've always decided people are driven by gear. They want to get the best stuff. They want to put stuff together. They want to collect stuff. They want to get the stuff. If we give them everything they want right out of the box, they stop wanting. So we keep the drive in there. So you're going to have some people looking kind of goofy, and you just get to make fun of them, which should make them go get better gear.
Thank you.
Actually, for a little while, we still have the functionality. We have the functionality in the game to adjust what your character looks like when you put on armor. So you could, for example, as a Jedi Knight, find Trooper armor, put it on, and then it would actually look like Jedi Knight armor. And the feedback we got was that people didn't like that. It did make Jedi Knights all look like Jedi Knights, but sometimes a person like a man, sort of like what Daniel was talking about, having the American initial, I didn't know I did that. They want to look like a trooper. So we're letting that happen. But one thing that we have done, have implemented, is what's the technology called that the artists have for making sure the colors
color
are
matching, yeah.
Color matching. We have a tech that's called color matching, so that when you get, for example, as a trooper, if you get all your armor together and some of the top armor is green and some of the bottom armor is red, the color matching will actually make it match together, so you look a lot better. So that's one way to.
Unless you don't want to. If you want to look ridiculous, you just turn it off. I've seen some pretty crazy ones off. That makes sense. I actually filed a bug because I didn't know we had turned off from... See, this is what I was talking about for testing. So, this is the things we do, right? Like, I don't want Jedis looking like troopers. I don't like it. And guess what? Testers did. so I lose. That's the way it works. I just filed a bug the other day because somebody came up as a Sith warrior, and behind them was Vet, dressed as a Grand Moff of the Empire. White Empire officer's gear, shoulder things, gear, which apparently somebody found a really badass random drop and thought, this is funny, I'm gonna put it on my companion gear. So we always go with testing.
So we've got to move this along. You know that we're trying to clear this out, so let me get you, sir. I actually
brought
told you
up,
guys. Quick, shorten your answer.
Since you brought up companions, and we noticed that there weren't any out in the floor today, there seems to be a lot of concern amongst people who like to tank or heal that the companions will be making their jobs arbitrary, despite the fact that it's pretty obvious if you want to tank, tank. If you want to go heal. The big question is, will they be able to tank or heal for a group in endgame instances and raids? Or will a player character have to do that?
So right now, and this is something that can change with testing and feedback, but right now we're aiming to not allow companions into endgame raids and flashpoints. Or into...
And that is the sort of reason why.
We're also, they're not going to, right now we're currently not allowing them to war zones. One of the big reasons is that these kinds of activities, raids and flashpoints and war zones, they're all very much about player skill, and you know, the difference between losing and victory is so slim that when something goes wrong, you know, you want it to be the player's fault, not the fact that the companion character's AI was like 2 seconds too slow. Okay. It's the reason it's you know, why like hunters aren't very popular and you know, with their pets in World of Warcraft raids. It's just, it's very difficult to create. Well, actually, currently, it's impossible to create an AI that's as good as a player. And I don't know when there'll be AIs that
Well,
can
some players. Put my mom on there, you might have a different story.
Let's get this going. Shout it out.
Yeah, earlier we were talking about the group dialogue at the last Q&A, and you said whoever wins the dice roll decides the story for the group. Are you able to replay those story elements to change the story for your character?
It depends which one. So, okay, first of all, I need to call this out, and I'm sorry, it's going to go slow. But so you guys know, so this beautiful couple came on their honeymoon to PAX. It was apparently her idea, so boys, die of jealousy. So, flashpoints are replayable. The other content is not replayable. There is definitely some risk of playing with other humans, much like in real life. Other people that you are nearby may do things you do not like. So yes, you're going to get the light side or dark side points of what you chose, but they might win the decision. Everybody might go evil, and they might kill a guy, and you might feel very sad, but flashpoints aside, that guy's dead. And in fact, you were part of the group that killed them, whether or not you wanted to, and if that guy's family comes after you, the option, hey, I totally voted the other way. Not very good.
All right, I'm sorry, it's going to have to be one more question because we have some stuff we want to give away. He's stretching up really high, so.
I know in Flashpoints there are going to be 4 players. What is your raid composition?
Oh, you have to ask about raids.
That question is
Let's pass on that one.
More than 4, less than the people in the room?
I'm curious, are most of the dungeons going to be like Pro 5 instance, or they're going to be open world kind of dungeon areas?
A flashpoint is going to be instance.
Well, flashpoints have to be instanced by their very nature. That's what a flashpoint is an instance thing. There are, however, some great open world heroic quests that take a full party, that keep you out in the open world, and that are pretty really nasty slogs.
What about that thing that was added recently by Gale? The big creatures?
People seen them, so it's popped out. Yeah. So the other one that's just made in there is we do have world bosses now, is what we're calling them, which is basically just thunderous, huge robot of doom that's stomping around Nar Shaddaa that needs a full party plus.
And this is in the open world.
Out in the open world, there are some really nasties that really, if you want to get, you better get some cooperation.
We have 5 minutes of recording.
Yeah, so you guys probably saw from the game trailer the Rancor there, which in the game trailer, very nicely, there are 2 people aiming at it. Those 2 people are dead. Yeah! Very dead.
Hey guys, I'm sorry we can't take more questions. We'd love to, but as we've only got an hour. So what we're going to do is give away some kind of cool swag.